I am just a member of the PAECT Professional Development Group. We are just going to kind of have a somewhat informal conversation about Pete&C from some veterans that have been there, and also maybe answer some questions you might have, or anything for those that are new. I saw some people missed a year. I want to see if anything's changed. Kind of preview what's going on. From what's been posted. I just saw it. I went on to check again this morning. Looks like all the schedules posted, so you can check out sessions that are happening if you haven't looked at that, because I know it wasn't there a couple of days ago, maybe even yesterday, but it's definitely there now. So a couple people that are going to help out, because I've only been to Pete&C once last year, so I'm not much of a veteran. I'm just kind of help ask questions maybe, but we have some others. So like we'll start with maybe. Nicole, do you want to share a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how many years, Pete&C? Vicky's going to chime in, kind of a bit that's done this, and Eric is also going to kind of help lead the way, with obviously Sarah as our PD leader can help out. But Nicole, you want to start, like how many years Pete&C, what area, anything else we should know about you?
I am in Western Pennsylvania. I actually live in Punxsutawney, so we're getting ready for the big Phil Day on Saturday. I teach in Du Bois. And I've been going to Pete&C since 2008, so this is my 10th year. I did miss 1 year, the year my son was born. I stayed home with him rather than going, so I've been there quite a bit. I'm the vice president for PAECT, so I've been helping out with program and things like that. With the organization, Northwest Regional Director, before I took on that role. And I've learned from the best. Mary Beth, I see she is on. She's been around longer than I have at Pete&C. So she's one of the ones that I can remember, one of my first years that I was there and meeting that group from Erie, and her coming and saying, come sit with us at dinner. So, don't be afraid to talk to people, meet people, and network.
Yeah, I mean, again, last year was my first year, and if you've never been, it's fairly overwhelming unless you've been to a big conference like an ISTE or like FETC down south right now. It's happening, but it can be very overwhelming for those that haven't been. Vicky, you want to tell us about you and your experience and where you're from and such?
Sure. I work for Conestoga Valley School District, Lancaster County. I've been going to Pete&C, I can't even count. I think I've gone about 14 plus years. So, wow. Yeah, I've been going for quite a while. I'm also on the PAECT PD committee, and I'm also the program chair of the poster sessions for Pete&C. So, of course, one of my favorite things about Pete&C are the poster sessions. I've been doing poster sessions for years, and we finally, I think, have found the value in them at Pete&C, and it just grows and grows every year. So I say don't miss at least going to a few of the poster sessions. They're always great. You can always get a lot of information in a short period of time, kind of just hit the ones that you're really interested in. But there's so much to do, and so much. My advice is just to pick out 1 or 2 things you really want to focus on. Maybe your school district is a Google Apps district, so maybe focus on, there's a lot of great things for Google this year, or maybe you're really into AR, VR, and you should go see Leslie Fisher. She's a featured speaker this year. So there's, narrow it down a little bit, because it can be overwhelming.
All right, thanks. How about Eric? Eric's helping out in this. Eric's part of the committee. So why don't you tell us about yourself and your Pete&C experience?
Okay. Yeah, so I'm Eric Ballack. I teach 5th grade at Lampeter Strasburg School District in Lancaster County. I've been to Pete&C twice, maybe 3 times. I was supposed to go last year, but had a family death out of state, so that sort of took precedence. But and unfortunately, I won't be able to go this year. Other times I have gone to Pete&C, I would say I would second what Vicky said in terms of picking, top 2, top 3 sessions that you want to go. If there's any sessions that you really are curious of, most of the presenters will put their resources online for you to access beforehand. So what I have done in the past is I'll go through and I'll look through all the resources to see, does it meet my needs? You know, as Vicky said, if I really want to do VR, AR, I've already done a few sessions. So is it going to meet my needs, and is it going to meet my objective of what I'm trying to accomplish with that technology? So that's my suggestion for Pete&C.
All right. And Sarah, you want to share a little bit? Sarah's kind of our leader of our PD committee. Shouldn't say kind of. She is the leader of our PD committee and a veteran as well. So talk about yourself, Sarah,
Sure.
and your Pete&C experience. Yeah.
Sure. So Sarah Heinzelman, chair of the PD committee. This is my 10th year attending Pete&C. Very excited to be going and sharing with all of you. If I were to pick one piece of advice, I would say that it's to leave with a plan. So something that I end each of my sessions with is a 30, 60, 90 slide, and it's really just 3 columns of what do I want to accomplish in the first 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days, and sending emails to the people that you needed to meet with before you leave. Because when you get back, you'll be really excited, but you're also going to be really drained. I think those 3 days are just the most intense days of PD that you're going to have probably this year. So it's tough to have that balance of you're really excited, but remembering that other people weren't there with you, so they don't really share in that excitement. But by the time you get back to school, you might also be tired. You're diving back into the classroom. So having a plan and then revisiting that plan regularly is really critical to you taking actionable steps.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, again, I kind of took this position in this webinar tonight because I was a first-year person last year that made a ton of mistakes, I think, and missed out on some things. And there's some things I knew that went on that I didn't even know existed. Or, you know, again, having kind of a strategy is definitely something, if you're new, I'd recommend, because there is so much going on. You know, the poster sessions, like last year I didn't get to a poster session, and I heard so many good things that it's definitely on my list because, you know, you can interact with the speaker right there. You get a lot more out of it. So, so I was thinking what we do, because we kind of, I guess we hit like everyone's kind of background that's kind of helping support this, how, you know, what you kind of look forward to in the session. But again, just to kind of go through the nuts and bolts of a day, I was just kind of start with Sunday and go through the days and kind of what's on tap, and then ask for some suggestions filling in. So, you know, obviously it starts on Sunday. There's all kinds of pre-conference things. I saw that Google has some things in advance. Apple usually does. I feel like a lot of the companies tend to have some pre-con things. Obviously, if you're a KTI star, there's the KTI pre-con. I was just talking to one of their organizers today. It's from 12 to 4. They're saying like 12 to 1 on Sunday is like an ed camp that they're doing, because they want to, you know, some people are kind of filtering in, so it'll be much more open. Then kind of at 1 o'clock is where they are really going to start their program on Sunday. So you can register as early as 11 on Sunday if you haven't looked. And then, you know, there's some different individual sessions with companies, and there's like a welcome reception at 8 o'clock that most people go to, right? So anything else anyone want to throw in about Sunday before we look at Monday and ask a few more questions?
Hey, Mary Beth, how many years have you been going? You're still muted.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm here. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Mary Beth. I wasn't able to answer that first question. My first conference was in 1994, and I missed one, and that was last year.
Oh.
So I wanted to see how many changes have been taking place. I am the evaluation chair, so I just want to put that out to make sure that everybody completes their Act 48 evaluations for both the sessions and the full conference. But to get back to Sunday, I think Sunday is more a social evening. But I do want to extend, and I'm sure the rest of the board members would want to extend an invitation to PAEC team members to attend our board meeting on Sunday at 4, right? It's at 4, Nicole? That's open to the public, that board meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and if anyone knows, honestly, someone asked, Lynn and Emily are asking about the app. Anyone know about the app for this year? Is it out yet or an update? I'm not sure about that question.
Hey, John, I just checked.
Okay.
I was able to download the app and open it up. It seems that is updated to 2019. And
Oh, great.
look at everything that you would need to know. So yeah, it is available now.
Great. Yeah, like I said, I checked yesterday, and the schedule of all the concurrent sessions weren't there. Today it was this morning, so maybe that's, if you haven't checked in the last 24 hours or maybe 12 hours, it looks like it just came out maybe today. So that probably answers that question for you guys. So, obviously, again, if you've never been there, most of the framework is around the morning as a keynote session, and then there's concurrent sessions throughout the day. Which, there's so many choices there. You have the poster sessions scheduled within that. You have, I forget who said it, I think Vicky said, or like Google's going to have sessions all day. There's Apple stuff all day. Every day.
Apple's always there. They have
Okay.
a big presence. There's also Google Playground over
Okay.
at the hotel. So that's all day Monday and Tuesday. But there's also the Google on Sunday too. And there's also the maker sessions, which are kind of like a poster session, but they're a little bit more hands-on, and that's over at the hotel. And you can grab a shuttle and go over to that. So if you're into a lot of the hands-on kind of things, if you're a regular classroom teacher, that type of thing, that would be really worthwhile going over and taking a look at those.
Vicky, Emily just asked about the Google Playground. She saw it on there. Do you know more about that or what that entails?
I don't know a lot about it. I think it's new this year. And so all I know is that it's Monday morning and Monday afternoon and the same on Tuesday. Check on the schedule for the exact times. But I think it's going to be more hands-on where you can go over and ask questions and kind of play with some of the Google things that have come out recently.
Yeah, I mean, is that the same as the Google Theater, or are you talking about something else? Because I looked at the Google Theater, which Rich Kiker and his company is leading, and if you haven't looked at that, if you haven't seen any of Rich's stuff or his people, those are amazing workshops. I've seen actually, I think, all of those speakers in different capacities, and they are fantastic. And it looks like they're kind of diving into different Google tools. And like, if I have to give a plug to Chris McCaffrey. If you ever seen him work with math or Google Sheets, it is out of sight with what that sounds like 1950s, but it's really amazing what he does and what you can learn from those guys and girls that work for Rich Kiker. Is that what you're referring to, Vicky, or is there something else that I didn't see?
Well, Google Theater is at the Lodge, and that's
Okay.
with Rich and company, and so that's going to be more presentation style, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The Google Playground, I think, is more of a hands-on situation.
Okay.
Where you can just kind of go, stop, play, spend the amount of time you want to spend there. It's like just a regular playground, or like the poster sessions where you wander around and take a look at things.
Yeah, and I see, while we're on the topic, I see Dave's asking about getting back and forth. There are shuttles. The one thing, again, from the first year guy, because you basically kind of have 2 concurrent sessions early and then 2 later, kind of after the lunch hour. If you're planning on doing 1 concurrent and then the next one at the other venue, you're probably not going to get back and forth in time. So again, I would plan accordingly. That'd be fair to say some of the other veterans about using the shuttles to go back and forth from the lodge and the hotel. I'm seeing some nods. I mean, it was very easy.
You definitely want to look and plan accordingly and see which ones that you really want to get to, or maybe there's a few at the hotel that you want to do in a row before you come back to the lodge. I also, whenever I look, I always have a couple in my back pocket because you might get to one and it might be full. It might, if you don't get to the room right away and it's already at capacity, make sure you have something else in your back pocket that you want to get to that might be open.
I was too scared to even try the shuttle to the hotel. I stayed at the lodge the whole time, first time. Like there's so much to pick from, but you're right. having a plan is big because I was like, oh, getting back. No, but anyone I talked to said it was very easy to get back and forth. It's just a matter of time.
I'm spoiled also because I usually have my car, so I drive. Like if I'll drive over and drive back.
Right.
The one thing that I thought that was really creative, some people did last year, is if they were coming back from the lodge or whichever way you're going, and you couldn't get to the beginning of a session, they popped on the live stream of it on the bus and just put their headphones on. I had a couple people walk in my session with headphones on. I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, we were just listening to the live stream. So that's kind of a neat way if you want to get the most out of it to do that.
Yeah, I was going to mention the virtual. I was just thinking about that as I have it on my list, the virtual Pete&C. Like if you can't get into a session because it's full, you have that option. And again, I heard good things about that. And that would be a good way to hack that. And on Monday, I've even looked, Weston Kishnick is the keynote. Like he wrote this book, Bold School. It's like all tore up. I absolutely love this book. If you've ever seen him before, read this, it is outstanding. There probably isn't a keynote that's going to be bad, but on that first day, he's really good at talking about blending technology with strategies that have been proven to work. So, I've seen him before, but I'm really excited to see him again. So I'd highly recommend making sure you get there in the morning for that. And again, it looks like there's 4 concurrent sessions. What about, I think her name's Leslie, right? Leslie Fisher? Because you need pre-registration tickets from that, I believe, but it's free as long as you register.
Yeah, that's correct, that it is free. I'm not sure if there are tickets left or not. I haven't looked at that.
There weren't many.
There weren't.
Okay.
Leslie's a great presenter, very hands-on. She always has fantastic ideas, shares a lot, and you're going to walk away from any of her sessions with, tons of things that you can take back and use with your students. She's down in Florida right now presenting. So I've been watching some of the things that she's been putting out down there. And so I'm sure a lot of the same things she's showing down there, she's going to be showing in Hershey.
Oh, great. And there's free lunch with that too, I saw, which kind of makes me another point, like while we're on the topic, food, what are some things like, because obviously you have a ton of people going to certain places. Any hacks or insider tips we should know about eating and taking care of yourself and stuff like that? Feel for anyone any of our veterans.
Bring your own breakfast, eat in your room. Consumables in your room that you can quickly, munch on or go back to your room. Lines will be long wherever you go because of the quantity of people, both in the resort and some of the surrounding restaurants.
I will say that I just moved to E-Town, which is, a walk away from Hershey, metaphorically. But they did open on the main street of Hershey, in Iron Hill, Permane Brothers. So there are some more shops or restaurants that have been opening up that's worth, checking out.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, if you're going to eat in or around the lodge or somewhere, make reservations. Or if you don't get into a session you loved around the eating time, then obviously maybe head towards one of those places early. But there are more places outside and around. But I would definitely say, I felt that the breakfast. I mean, there was some breakfast food, I think, going in at least one keynote. I don't know if it's there every keynote when we went in. But definitely, I thought that was the most busy time around the hotels to get a cup of coffee and things like that.
There is coffee every morning, hot chocolate, Danish, that type of thing. But I agree that I usually have energy bars or something that I can grab for breakfast. And then if you're planning on spending the whole time up at Hershey, Sunday night, the vendor reception is great, and I never get dinner that night because there's always tons of food. So you just go from room to room and get food and drinks, and that seems, plenty. And lunch is a little difficult because that's when everything gets really busy, but you can make reservations. So I've done that in the past.
And they do serve lunch in the main room that you can go through the lines and get like hot dogs or salads, or they usually have some kind of sandwich or something. So I'll do that. And I will I always pack snacks. I always have bananas or some fruit and some different bars to eat too, so that I don't have to worry about most of the day.
Yeah, Kristen makes a great point too about parking, right? If you leave for lunch, carpool, parking will be a little crazy. What about Uber? I had fairly good success with Uber. Anyone have any issues, plus, minus on that? Or if you need to get somewhere? Maybe.
Mm.
It's there. There's Uber. They definitely have Uber in Hershey, so don't sweat that, because we used that a couple of times, and I didn't feel like it was like a line or an issue, honestly.
Oh, that's good. The last time I took an Uber out that way was KTI, and we ended up at the winery and had to hitch rides back because there were no Ubers coming back. So.
Oh my Lord! That was. We just went to.
They have them.
I'm sorry. Yeah, like we actually like the one night we went to Trogs for dinner, which is not that far away. Which again, if you never had food from Trogs, it is outstanding. The food there, you wouldn't, if you weren't sure. It's not just a brewery. The food's really good, but they actually, the Uber driver was saying like, oh yeah, there's they kind of get the word out among them that there's something in town. Like they saw a lot of people, so I think they kind of plan around that as well. What about the night owl session?
John, before you go on to that, just along the lines of food, I always recommend bringing a water bottle with you, especially if you're presenting. Sometimes there's not always glasses. Like there's usually water jugs, but if there aren't glasses there, it's really helpful to have a water bottle with you so you can refill it, because there won't be drinks throughout the entire day.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. That's a good point for presenting. You get in the mix there, you'll probably the last thing you're thinking about, so you better make sure you pack that along. Any other questions about food or anything? I see Grubhub. Eric's recommending. So the night owl sessions, can anyone, I did not attend that last year. Can anyone comment on that? What they think, how that goes, what to expect? Okay. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot. But what about the, I mean, Vicki, obviously you're the chair, like the poster sessions. Can you tell us more about that? I know it's like kind of the feel of like a science fair, but obviously teachers presenting what they're doing in education, sometimes they're students. So you got to tell us more about the poster sessions, when we can see those, and so forth.
Right. So there's a morning and an afternoon on Monday, morning, afternoon, poster sessions on Tuesday, and then also Wednesday morning. That's the biggest group of posters that we have. But what they are, I mean, it varies from presenter to presenter, but it's basically they have a table and some have the trifold poster up, and some have brochures that you can grab and go. Some actually hands-on. In the past, I've had some of my robots and things there that people can try out. And you can make it whatever you want. You can go and you can snap a picture of their poster, and then so you can look at it later, and you could grab a business card and contact them later. Or if you really want to, then that person is there, and you can of course ask them questions about whatever they're presenting on. So it's nice because if you don't have a lot of time, you can kind of just hit what you need to hit and go on, or you can spend a lot of time and talk to the presenters and get more in depth with their topic. So that's why I really like it, because you can, if you look down through the poster presentations, you can see the kind of like what you're looking for and kind of plan your route or plan when you want to go to them, and just kind of go and grab. And I usually try to put, I know a lot of presenters do too, they'll have QR codes on their posters, or they'll have some sort of handout that you can just quick get that information if you don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, Anne mentions make sure you have a QR reader. Obviously, if you have an iPhone, the new camera feature, you can do that. But if you're going to go check those out, Anne recommends QR readers because, like Vicki said, a lot of people do that. And definitely, I think that's definitely on my list to go through there at some point, especially if you get locked out of a session because it's full. It'd be a great time to go down and check those out. How about this question to our veterans here? How do you determine what you're going to attend? Like, what is your kind of process, your checklist? I mean, this might be very personal to everyone and what they want to see, but how do you kind of, when you get that big schedule and you look at that massive list, what is your process?
All right.
I'll go ahead. Yes, thank you.
Usually I have every year like a focus anyway, kind of, and so that varies every year. So right now I'm really into doing a lot with AR, VR, and I've been doing that for a while. Anything with coding, robotics. It's whatever that I'm focusing on in that year. Now I'm a learning coach, a technology coach, whatever you call it. But so I'm kind of keeping ahead of what's happening out there and trying to take back to my teachers and students, the up and coming new things. But if it could be just, classroom management or it's just you're a new teacher and you just, want to go to sessions like to get the bare bones of how to keep your head above water in your first year. I mean, there's sessions for that. So I would say, like I said in the beginning, just narrow down really what you want to focus on and kind of look through the program and see if there's enough there that's going to, that you're going to find that's going to meet those needs. And one thing that we haven't really mentioned yet, if you get into a session and it's just absolutely not what you expected at all, don't be afraid to get up and walk out and find something else. Sometimes the sessions do get full, so then the doors are closed. So they have, it's due to fire code and everything, so we can't put more people in. So you may not be able to get into your session also. So pick like your first and second and third choice in case those sessions are filled, especially if you have to travel from one part of the building to the other, they could be filled before you get there. So, kind of have those first, second, and third choices for each time slot. But do not be afraid to get up and walk out if it's not meeting your needs. Go find something else. Go hit the poster sessions or go to the maker sessions or something else. Or also what we haven't mentioned is go to the vendors. Because the vendor hall is always open, so we can talk about that then. But so that's what I do. Just try to focus rather than try to hit all the things.
Yeah. And just a couple things, if anyone wants to jump in, feel free, but there's some great chat. If you're not looking at the chat, there's some great questions. Like Jen, I think we answered your question. You get your badge at the welcome thing. Good. So you'll have that with you everywhere you go. And, going back to the vendors, what's really cool is that there's a, instead of filling out stuff with your information to contact a vendor, they just have a scanner that's on your badge. So they just scan it and then they have your contact information if you want to follow up. So I thought that was, I don't know if last year was the first year for that, but I thought that was a really cool feature because it made that process much simpler. You don't have to carry all these papers with you if you don't want them. You don't have to fill out a million times. But the vendors, two things Vicki hit that I was going to ask is, the Ed Camp, rule of two, is open. So don't feel like you're stuck if you don't want to be there. And definitely go to the vendors. First off, you can probably get a lot of swag, a lot of cool stuff. There's always giveaway stuff. But there's a lot to see and just try out there. There's almost anything you're looking for, and companies maybe you've talked to. If you're in a position where you work with different companies or contact, definitely I would recommend going to see them. It might open up some new avenues for you, some new contacts. I know for us in our district, we had never heard of kite learning, even though it's a big feature of our PAECT, which I'll talk about a little bit later. We heard them mentioned in a session on professional development for a district. The other two instructional coaches and myself, I didn't even mention I'm an instructional coach, by the way. We went up and met with the kite learning people and immediately set up a dialogue. They came out and worked with our staff and kind of set up a relationship, and it wouldn't have happened without all that there. And, so definitely don't skip the vendors. Definitely take time to go through there. If you get bumped out of a session, you can't get in, then maybe you're back up, but definitely spend time there. Something else came up when we were talking about, sessions get a little tight, I'll be honest. I see that someone said bring power packs because, charging your device during the day is probably not going to happen very easily unless you have something in your room. But what do you guys bring with you into a session? Do you bring your full laptop? Do you bring a tablet? Do you just bring a notepad? Do you just use your phone? Any recommendations there for people or what you feel works best in that kind of filled, packed environment? You don't have a desk to usually work off of, so any hacks there besides cramping your legs up and typing like this?
I think historically it was the pad and paper, back in the late 90s. But now I think it's the smaller the device, the easier it is to manage and to hang on to when you're sitting, elbow to elbow, knee to knee in one of those session rooms. So you need to be able to move quickly. Sometimes, I want everybody though to, especially the first timers, to go back and look at the 2018 recordings that are on the homepage of the conference site. Just check out some of those recordings so that you can see what that's like and what the recordings are like. Because frequently, you'll be able to see the recordings at the end of the day of sessions you missed.
Right.
You don't have to wait that long. You can still evaluate those sessions. You can only earn whatever the 6 hours I think it is per day, but at least you'll have that opportunity to be able to evaluate those sessions as well, the recorded ones, especially if you can't get into them.
Right, and I think like Sarah kind of mentioned, if there's something you really want to get into, planning accordingly for that, either leaving a session early to get there, or by using the virtual piece, you can be, listening in on the one you were hoping to get into, but waiting in line if you know it's going to be busy. I know like Aaron Sands presented, and I was hoping to get in there, and there was a line before you could even get in the door. So I did not plan well for that and couldn't get in. So definitely, utilize that virtual piece to kind of help you maximize your time, because there is a lot, and things will fill up quickly if you haven't seen it before, very quickly. Just kind of looking through the questions. Lynn, I think we answered your question about the registration again. Virtual sessions are listed on I think on the website, right? Is that where you access all the virtual sessions if you want to live stream, correct, on the website?
Mm-hmm. I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I think it's all right there, because usually, right, if you go there right now and look at the schedule, you'll see usually a lot of the documents or their presentation they already have uploaded. So everything should be on there. Just again, looking through the questions here. The app should be is in the App Store, I guess, or do they have to go to the Pete&C site to get the app?
No, just search Pete&C in the App Store, at least on the iPhone, because I just did it and got it. So.
Okay, thank you. And so Monday and Tuesday, I feel like have a lot of similarities in how they're laid out. Again, concurrent sessions are going on. I think I counted 5 on Tuesday, only 4 sessions on Monday. Again, Alice Keeler, again, kind of a rock star out there, right? Ditch that homework. Another good one that I've been through multiple times. But she's keynoting on Tuesday. If you haven't seen her speak, she is right in your face. She is out there. She's great. She very entertaining speaker. So I'm looking forward to that as well. There's the Chocolate Fest, which is new this year, I think. I got my district to get my ticket for that, so I'm going. Anyone help plan with that, or what to expect? Or it sounds like a lot of fun over at the Chocolate World. Anyone know much?
They have dueling pianos, so that'll be going
I saw
on.
that, yeah.
Different chocolate snacks. I'm sure you all read the email. So the buses will transport everybody there and back. So this is the
Awesome.
first time that's been done, so it should be a fun time.
Awesome. Anyone here going? Show of hands. Anyone else going to Chocolate Fest? All right, good. And so is Jay Redclay. Is it Jen? Sorry, I see it, Jay. Yay to you, Jay Redclay. Red K. And then there's
Yes,
I don't
Chris.
know much about the. I'm sorry.
They were
So,
asking in the chat. Sorry, asking in the chat.
Okay,
That's
go.
replacing the main hall night, and that's yes. There isn't going to be anything on the main. Correct, Vicki? Mary Beth? Am I thinking correctly?
Yeah, as far as I know, it's replacing the banquet.
Right.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, right? Chocolate Fest is Tuesday.
Right.
Yes.
PACT banquets Monday, right?
Correct.
As well as some other banquets, organizational banquets.
So if you want to go to the PACT banquet, those tickets have to be purchased as well with your registration, and you can select that option. So everyone's more than welcome there. We'd like to see everybody.
And saying the fest is going to be awesome in all caps, so make sure we go there. Did I miss any other questions? Type them again. If yeah, Vicky makes a good point about the keynotes. Make sure you get there a little bit early, especially if it's someone you're really eager to see, because again, that there's a lot of seating, but it will fill up. And the keynote on Wednesday, is it Freddie Lajvardi? I apologize if I'm butchering that. I don't know much about him. Anyone know much about him? Obviously, there's a STEM connection in the background. If he's really big and important, I'm sorry that I don't know that, but someone can help fill out about him or what we can expect, because I honestly don't know much about him. I need to Google that. Okay, well, let's look about, what about I had a question about most excited. So if we haven't hit it yet, maybe we can just re-up things that we do really like. What are we most excited for in 2019 at Pete&C? Besides Chocolate Fest? Any veterans see something different or something they're excited about, or just what I see some people plugging their poster sessions in the chat. Awesome. And other sessions.
I just know I really look forward to like the unstructured times. I feel like I've taken more away from, maybe not more, but I've taken a lot away from just conversation that happens out, near the fireplace, or when you're waiting in line for sessions, or when you're sitting and waiting with people in sessions. I just think that informal conversation and kind of talking with other people and making connections is just as powerful as sitting and listening to somebody do their actual presentation. I found that over the years, I always learn something from people that I just meet sitting at the tables or whatever I might be doing.
That's a great point about making those connections. That's a great point about spending time. Like, obviously, if any of you guys been to KTI, like, reconnect with people. That the energy is so great. So definitely make time for that kind of stuff. Follow up with people. Again, use those vendors and such. I love that. Relax if you're a first-time presenter. I haven't presented, so I can't talk to that. But before we switch to that, anything else that you're looking forward to or most excited about?
I would just say also that be willing to talk to everybody, but be welcoming to everybody as well, because there might be somebody there that it's their first time there and they don't know anybody. So if you notice that somebody's kind of standing off and kind of, looking nervous, like they might want to talk to you, go up to them and talk to them and bring them, and bring them in and make them feel welcome. I know I'm not always the best at that, but that's what brought me and kept me coming all these years is the number of people that talk to you and share with you and give you ideas to take back. So just be as welcoming as possible to everybody.
That's a great point too. I think ed tech people are the best people in the world. Like, I don't know, it's the KTI. I just feel like there's a lot of good people, and I think most people are welcoming. I mean, you have your name tag there, so you have someone's name. You can ask them. You don't have to worry about that part. But I always feel like it's so easy to connect people there. And again, most people are willing to talk, share what they're doing. Most people are eager to want to share what they're doing and talk about some of the cool things as it connects back to whatever you're there to talk about. Anything else? Anyone else want to chime in? Most excited for? I always love KTI pre-con. I'm excited to connect with the people that from this past year, people that from my year, 2 years ago, and all between. It's always a fun experience to see everyone again and keep those relationships going as well. I think, Vicky, you were going to jump in. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just going to say, make sure you turn in your raffle tickets, because there are usually some fantastic prizes. So, make sure you fill those out and get them in, and they're drawn throughout the whole 3-day process. So, not to mention vendors that have raffles too. So that's always exciting. I've won in the past, some good things. So.
Yeah, I think last year, I forget what you had to turn in, but everyone got VR goggles. You had to just go in and do one thing. They had tons of those they gave out. So there is a lot of stuff to be had, to walk out with some good swag. I think, Nicole, you're going to jump in?
Yeah, I was just going to say, stop by the PAECT booth. We have some raffles that you can, purchase tickets to raffle stuff off. See Ron, check up on your membership. They'll have some swag there too for checking your membership.
Yeah, and just to, brings up two good points. Number one, if you're not aware of the change up in PAECT, if you're not a member or such, we have a kind of a new structure. There's a free membership structure, which gives you, the mailings and connections with, get email blasts, things like that. If you are a paid member, you get all of that. Plus, you get some free things, some discounted options throughout the year. Free access to Kite Learning. And I just got a Kite Learning email, if you didn't see this, that they're now looking at offering, you can get your Google One and Google 2 training through Kite. And I think Google is giving Kite vouchers for the tests. So it may be something to see some value in your Kite Learning membership, that you can get your training and even get a free test with Google if you're looking at that. So some interest there. And obviously these great PD webinars, you have access to all the recordings. This is a different one because we wanted to connect with anyone that's at Pete&C, but, really think about joining PAECT to be a full-time member. And then the second thing that I wanted to mention is there will be PAECT swag given out by some of the PD committee. We're doing some Twitter, kind of like, I don't know what the right term, like kind of like scavenger hunt type-ish. I know like one day I'll be tweeting stuff out if you find where I am, and I'll say, kind of give some clues. I have stuff to give out. We have different members throughout the 3 days that are going to be giving out stuff, and we'll be using Twitter and social media to get the word out. So if anything, you can come find us. If you just run into me randomly, I don't know if I'll have a PA, some stuff, but whatever my time, I forgot. I think I'm Tuesday. We'll be using the PACT Twitter handle and our Twitter handles and stuff. So you can get some swag from us. If you just come and say what's up and come follow me on Twitter, I'll probably give you something anyhow. Maybe a Jolly Rancher or something I have in my bag. So, first-time presenters, maybe real quick, any other advice from what's on the chat about how to be ready? Again, if you're a PAECT member, you can go back and look at it. Sarah, is it Lisa Johnson? What's the sophisticated slides? You can go back and get some of her great advice and tips on how to design your slides in the webinar recordings. But anyone else have other advice for first-time presenters?
There's a practice. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
There's a practice room that they'll have set up where it will look like the room that you're presenting in. So they'll have a similar projector, the sound system and everything. I highly recommend definitely checking that out. Try to pick a time when you don't think others would do it. I think I was there, during lunch one time when I knew everyone was in line somewhere, or, later at night. But there is a room, I'm not sure it'll be in the same place, but they usually tell you where that room is with all of your information. But I definitely recommend taking whatever laptop you plan on using or whatever device and just doing like a quick little run through, just making sure everything works the way that you want it to prior to standing up in front of everybody.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a practice room. That's awesome. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
It's a good gem, hidden gem.
I think another thing is for first timers, do not be afraid to ask and be lost, because you will be lost. The names of those rooms are very confusing. Don't be afraid to ask absolutely anyone where you need to be. Okay.
Yeah, there are volunteers everywhere. I think they're still wearing red shirts. Is that right? Yes. Okay. And so, they're there to help you. So do not be afraid to go up and ask one of them or ask somebody else for directions or help.
For first-time presenters, the internet over the last few years has been pretty good. But something I always try to do is, if I'm going to be demoing anything, putting screenshots as a backup on slides, just so that you can still refer to them. And if you are going to be going out from your presentation and showing things on a web browser or whatever it may be, I have a whole separate login on my computer that I just title presenter. That's clean. There aren't screenshots or anything so there's no risk of like my email going up on the screen or iMessages. So thinking about your workflow and practicing going from screen to screen, thinking that through, I think can make your presentation a little bit smoother.
Awesome. Let's see, anything else that I missed? I think I got a bunch, as many talking points as I could. I know for myself, I'm going to go to the hotel for something. If there's something good that I want to see, but I'm going to venture out and use that shuttle system. I'm definitely going to check a poster session out. So if anything, all of your help was just for me, so I really appreciate that. What about mistakes or errors? There's anything like in that, like where something you did at a Pete&C, you're like, oh, that was not worth my time or not. I think we covered a lot, but is there anything else on that end? A few too many cocktails the night before a keynote might be something to look out for. Anything else?
Well, those vendors on Sunday night share beverages. So
yes.
Be careful. Remember, you're a professional. And even though we've all imbibed a lot in the past, some of them even share chocolate martinis. Enjoy and have fun. But again, be professional.
Yeah, because it's a long day, right? It's a
very long day.
Those are long days and get tired quickly. And again, you're always in the move. So, Are they doing the karaoke thing? Anyone know? Is the first night still karaoke like
yes.
it was last year? Yeah, is that a standard? Is that a Pete&C standard?
In the recent past, yes.
Okay.
It used to be we used to have a casino night, but then E-rate became involved and that had to be canceled.
Gotcha. Yes, Kim, the vendor night's open with registration, right? All you need is your badge and you get into that on Sunday night, correct?
Don't forget to get your badges on Sunday because you can't attend anything Sunday night without a badge, including the vendor floor.
Yeah.
So here you arrive while that registration is still open.
Yeah, if you can come in Sunday, there is a lot of things going on Sunday. Don't think it's just like kind of quiet. I mean, there's a lot going on to go attend. I know I went with, again, an instructional coach of mine. I went to the pre-con, but she went to the Apple session when there wasn't a lot of people and there was a lot of good stuff going on. There was no issues, no line. It was pretty quick to get in and get that stuff. Jen, I see your question. I don't know about night owls. The night owl session I asked, and I didn't get a great response. So maybe that's something we need to check in on. Maybe I should push myself there.
They used to call it like birds of a feather. It's more of a kind of an open session kind of conversations is what it ends up being. It's been a while.
Yeah, pretty open. That's what I thought. It's something like that.
Yeah, I can remember doing some with Jim Gates and things in years past, but it just depends on what you're up for and what kind of conversation you want to have at that time in the evening. I'm usually way too tired.
Yeah. Would you say it's kind of like an ed camp kind of thing, like whatever you guys want to get into and go? Something like that. Yeah, that's what I thought, but I didn't want to speak on it unless I was certain. So, is there anything else? I know we're kind of out of time. I feel like we've covered a lot. Again, I'll put the website in the chat again. Check out, PACT, PD committee's got a lot going on. Coming up, there's a book study on Brene Brown's. Is it Brene Brown, Dare to Lead? Where I think we're looking to maybe bring her in. There's all kinds of cool things in the works. So we highly encourage you to check us out there. And again, stop by that PACT table during Pete&C. There's a chance to sign up, ask questions, find some swag.
And John, I wanted to just add in too is after Pete&C, our PACT is having a Voxer chat at the end of February, beginning of March to sort of review and discuss anything that you've implemented within your classroom or something you want to discuss further that you learned from Pete&C.
Yeah, that's a great point. We were saying earlier that overload, when you're all done, you're kind of exhausted and you've kind of seen and heard so much. We want to try to help as a group in the process of kind of flushing things out, sharing, talking about the action plan, like Sarah's 30, 60, 90 thing. I think it's a great idea. There's definitely ways to use PACT to leverage your Pete&C time and really, make it worthwhile because it is an experience. It's a lot of fun and there's so much that you'll never get it all, but there's ways to consume that. Yes, you learn a little more every year. Yes, there's always something, right? There's always an area. Anything else, Sarah? Is there anything else I'm missing you want me to talk about or we should hit upon?
No, I think we can, if there's any questions, does anyone want to ask questions out loud?
Yay, Jen, I'm glad you're excited. Is it your first one? Was it your first one? Yeah.
Yeah, it's my first one, so I'm super excited. I got my district to pay for it, so
Even better.
I'm pumped. I'll be there.
Where are you coming in? Where are you from? Where are you located?
I'm at the intermediate unit with Scott, so.
Oh, okay. Oh, great. Oh, good. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. Yeah, it was a lot of fun last year.
Yes.
Anything else?
So how many people are going to be there all together?
I would say a lot, but I don't know how accurate that number is. Any idea? I mean,
Mary Beth, would you say 2,500? Is that?
Yes, including vendors, give or take.
it felt like more. It feels like more, but that's probably about right. I mean, like honestly, like when it came to the concurrent sessions, for me, there was only one session I was mentioning earlier where I didn't get in, but there was definitely full rooms, when I went. So, the things that you want to see, you want to make sure you get there just to be sure. I don't know how many people didn't get into certain sessions if you're worried about that kind of piece of it. But there's definitely especially I felt like the middle of the day, you see a ton of people in that mid-lunch, before and after lunch sessions. But not to the point where it's like, like I've heard stories of ISTE, and if you've ever been or heard about ISTE, it's not like that where it's like it feels like Lord of the Flies or something. That's what it sounds like to me when I hear stories.
Very cool. My first time. I'm really excited to be going. So hopefully I'll see you all there.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be there. And if you can't find someone to hang out with, Dave, I'll come hang out with you, man. Like you don't worry about that. Anything else, Mary Beth or Eric or Vicky? Cole?
Well, he better save some time to hang out with me, since we're all going together. We're lucky.
Oh, okay.
We're able to send 18, 19 people this year.
Oh,
So
that's
that's
amazing.
good.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So anything, if we're all good, like we're ready to Pete&C, ready to do it? Pre-con, anyone go to pre-con as well? I know I'm going. All right.
Yes.
Awesome.
I'm going to hit up the den session. I got in this year. Usually I don't get in, but I made it.
Okay. What's that? I don't know what that is. Can you tell me more about that?
Discovery Education Network. Discovery.
Oh, okay.
And it's all afternoon.
On Sunday?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Anybody else going to a session on Sunday?
KTI.
Other than KTI? Yeah. KTI.
ATI.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you. I guess thank you so much for coming. I'm glad to have everyone in here. Hope we helped you out. And if anything, touch base and see you and hang out on at some point. Look for our tweets about some swag giveaways that we're giving out. We have some cool stuff to give out. And again, feel free to talk to any one of us. Come say hi. I'd love to connect face to face. I'm sure like everyone else here. So really appreciate you taking the time tonight. And thank you for everyone helping me get these questions together and answering these questions. I was really nervous getting into this. I'm like, man, I don't know some of the answers to some of these questions. So I'm glad to have the veterans here to help answer that, because I would have been lost. And I definitely learned a lot as well. So thank you so much for that.
Great job, team.
Yeah. All right. We all good? All right.
Night.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye.